Hey traders, welcome back to the FX YouTube channel. Hope everyone is doing good today. In today's video, I'll start with a trade recap, then review the recent price action and analyze the markets to get some ideas where price may want to go today. So let's get into the charts and have a look in more detail. So starting with the trade recap. So just want to quickly explain the trade I took yesterday. So when I did the video yesterday, price was lingering, I believe, around this area. Yeah, it should have been this area. And I was already looking for shorts here. As I was seeing, we did tap supply. Supply was holding. But then those trades were set to break even. Ultimately, I got stopped out. And then price came up further to the OT area, which is this yellow area, as well as the 15-minute flip zone that I favored for looking for shorts. So I was actually quite happy to see price come into this area. Unfortunately, if you look closely, there wasn't anything clean for entries near the top. I marked the supply that I was hoping price would eventually come back to, but it never got anywhere near there. And you can see last point of demand breaking over and over, creating lower time frame chalks and then 15-minute chalks, and then a clear change of character after breaking this low. We did have a flip zone that was created here, and price did come back, test that flip zone, and reacted off of it. I was a little reluctant to enter at this area, but seeing how price didn't look like it wanted to push up higher, supply was holding, I figured flip zone entry would probably be the next best entry if it didn't come back to the extreme. So after price pushed down and then came back up, played around a little, and then eventually I set a sell stop. Price went through it and then played around a little. It broke the lows, which gave me confidence that it was going to continue to the downside. It did have quite a big pullback. I can't remember if I was actually break even at this time or not, but either way, it never came to my break even, and then started to continue to the downside. Slowly but gradually, it was pushing down lower, and then we had a really nice impulse to the downside. My first take profit was actually in this area. There was a 4-hour demand zone that was starting here. So I wanted to make sure that I took some profits in case it reversed from the demand zone. But ultimately it came down further. I had a refined 5-minute demand zone that I had marked here, which was my next take profit. And then my final TP was actually the lows, the previous lows. And ultimately it did come through there and create a lower low. So all in all, it turned out into a decent trade. I did take a couple losses beforehand, so percentage wise it wasn't such a huge gain, but all in all, it was a profitable day yesterday, so I can't complain. So anyways, let's get back to the analysis. I'm going to start with the fundamentals. So nothing really significant on Forex Factory. Have some monetary policy reports for the UK, and then we have an FOMC member speaking during New York. But I did check on my FX book, and we do have employment change in Europe, as well as balance of trade for the US. But honestly, I don't expect too much movement from those news events today. So moving on to DXY, since the last video, DXY was starting to test the 4-hour demand and the OT area. I was expecting a reversal from this area, and sure enough, we eventually got it. It took a little while, but price eventually did push back up to the upside. We broke the previous highs, and then after breaking the previous highs, we came way up here. We had a really nice pullback. You can see that it pushed down quite nicely. I actually thought that we would see continuation, but instead Asia pushed the price right back up, continued to the upside, and once again broke the highs. So as for right now, it appears that DXY is going to continue to the upside, but London session could trigger a pullback. And the thing is, as we did not see any continuation following the pullback last night, it just looks like DXY wants to continue up. So like I said, we could see a pullback during London, and then continuation later on. I do have in the back of my mind that the ECB interest rate hikes should start to get priced in, but for now we're not seeing any signs of DXY letting up for the time being. So we may need to wait until tomorrow before we really start to see a significant pullback when the interest rates hikes are announced. So let's move on to EU. So I'm going to go back to the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to hide my trade, so it's a little cleaner and easier to look at. So since the last video, EU was pushing up. We had a nice pullback where I thought it could go down from here, but then EU pushed up again into the OT area and the flip zone that I was monitoring and favored, and from there it started its reverse. So as I said, there wasn't any clean entries at the top, but further down we did get a pullback into the flip zone, which gave a nice trade to take to the downside, as explained in my trade recap. Then after that, we had an aggressive push to the downside, ultimately breaking the lows. Thereafter, we had a huge reaction after breaking the lows. And instead of seeing a pullback into demand and then potential reversal, we've just been seeing the price push down lower and lower. As of right now, it's our first sign that we're starting to see some signs of strength with this bullish candle. So like I said, we could see a pullback during London session, but seeing how DXY is so strong, I'm not sure we're gonna get a sizable pullback today. For now, demand is still holding. It may fail, it may hold, and we can take longs from here. It may sweep the lows using the low as inducement and then reverse from there. But like I said before, I don't see, at least for the time being, any signs that we're going to have a sizable pullback today. And then going to the 15-minute time frame, so over here you can see the really nice reaction after breaking the lows, and then you have a really corrective pullback back into demand. And you can see how EU is struggling to break the lows. Every time it gets close, it has a nice reaction and starts to push away from it. Demand is still holding. But like I said, there is a chance that this demand may hold and we can take longs from here. At the same time, there's also a chance that this demand fails, using the low as inducement and then looking for longs after that. But if you look right now, you had a really nice push up. I am seeing this for the first time actually, because when I was preparing the video, price was way down here. So yeah, we already have some signs of strength. So if we get a pullback now, potentially we could have some entries to take it up long, because if you look here, we already have a demand chain forming. So starting with the huge 15-minute demand that we have here, there was a refined 1-minute demand where price tapped into, reacted off of it, started to push away from it, came back, retested the demand, and then once again pushed away from it. So we do have a nice demand chain forming. Potentially we could get a pullback into this demand and take the price up from there. So for today, my bias is bearish on EU, although I do think we may get a pullback, especially if this demand holds, or potentially after breaking the low and then pushing up. But to be completely honest, I'm less confident that we will see the start of a bigger pullback today. I mean, just seeing how strong Dixie's been. It's not to say that it cannot happen, as Euro is actually relatively strong today. I'm just not so confident that today's the day that it's going to happen. So I won't be trading aggressively today. I'll mainly just follow the structure and order flow, probably on the 15-minute time frame, and just look for higher probability setups without trying to get in on the lower time frames and try to enter with tight stops. But if this long plays out, then would love to take it to the upside. Like I said, there is an argument for the longs. As you can see that, I mean, this pullback was really corrective after that aggressive push to the upside. So correctively pulling back into demand, tapping into refined areas and having noticeable reactions off of it. And then now starting to see some signs of strength. And to be honest, it does kind of look like price is accumulating orders in this area, well, in this range, before potentially driving EU to the upside. But honestly, even if I am able to get into a nice long today, which I hope we get a pullback, maybe during Frankfurt Open, to start to drive the price up. I mean, that would be a very nice trade to get into, but I will probably be more keeping my eye on areas to short from. And if we talk about areas to short from, I'm just gonna move this over a little. So our OT area is here. We have a very nice supply zone here. We also have the 4-hour imbalance here. So there's a lot of confluence in this area for looking for shorts from. It's also the 4-hour supply zone and technically a supply range as well. So if price comes back into here, could be a very nice area to start to look for shorts from. It's not to say that it's going to hold, because potentially price could continue and push the upside, But as I said, DXY is extremely strong still. I'm not sure if the ECB interest rates are starting to get priced in yet or not, mainly because we're not seeing EU being pushed up so aggressively yet. So I'll be keeping my eyes for shorts for the time being, to see, well, hopefully take a long up, and then look for shorts to take it right back down. Anyways, that more or less sums up the way I'm looking at the markets today, and today's analysis video. Hopefully you guys found it useful. I'd like to hear your thoughts on today's price action. You can do that by leaving a comment below. And as a reminder, if you found value in this video, please be sure to click the like button and subscribe to ensure you don't miss any future videos. And as always, have a wonderful trading day, and look forward to see you guys for the next one. See you guys soon. Peace.
Hey, you made it to the very end. Thanks for that. If you could do me one more favor and click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, it'll allow the YouTube algos to kick in and help this channel grow. Thanks again. Cheers.